Well, if you haven't heard, Iran has informed the UN nuclear watchdog that they are going to be upgrading their or increasing uranium enrichment capacity in the very near future. And that's not necessarily the disturbing part. The disturbing part is that Israel and the United States have determined that if that's the case, that they may very well attack their nuclear facilities. And this is what has been reported by Depicafy. It says Depicafy reported that on May 24th that if Iran returned to expanded uranium enrichment, the U.S. and Israel would prepare to attack its enrichment facilities and other key nuclear facilities to prevent the Islamic Republic from resuming its progress towards a nuclear weapon capability. Now that Tehran is taking that step, it is up to President Donald Trump to decide on America's response. His decision will be colored heavily by his fast approaching summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore on June 12th. To convince Kim that he is coming well armed for demanding the total dismantling of North Korea's nuclear and ballistics program, Trump may find it necessary to meet Iran's decision to expand uranium enrichment with a military response. Khomeini's step gives Trump a very tight timeline for a decision. It was also time to override the object of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's European trip. The European signatories of the deal, Germany, France, and the UK, have been scrambling to save the nuclear deal by diplomatic efforts to persuade Iran to limit its ballistic missile program and expansionist activities in the Middle East. Khomeini made it clear that the two issues are non-negotiable, as Israel warned them would happen. Netanyahu therefore finds their leaders floundering for their next step. A statement by NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg this week that the alliance would not back Israel if it came under fire from Iran comes closer to reality than before. So too does Khomeini's decision on May 29th to replace the commander of the Air Force or Air Defense headquarters with General Farzad Ismail, I guess that's how you pronounce it, which is in charge of Iran's air defenses, and appoint his deputy, Brigadier General Alireza Sabahi Farid, I guess that's how you pronounce it, as acting commander after two Israeli F-35 stealth fighters flew over Iran's nuclear facilities and left Iranian airspace unnoticed. Now here's the situation. This is a very tense situation that has a very slim timeline. And frankly put, somebody's going to have to blink. Now, as far as prophecy is concerned, I don't believe that Iran is going to get involved in an all-out war with the United States and Israel. In fact, as I've said before, I think that Ezekiel 38 indicates that Israel will be living in a state of peace and safety when Iran, Russia, and Turkey and company come calling. So I don't know if that bodes well for at least a war against Israel at the time. I think that peace will be established at some point in time. But whether or not the United States and Israel will go on a raiding mission and destroy Iran's nuclear facilities, we don't know that yet. And with Mr. Trump meeting the Korean leader in Singapore on June the 12th, that tight window, which is only about 7-8 days, is getting tighter, so he's going to have some type of response to let him know that he's serious. So it wouldn't shock me a bit if the Trump administration and the Israeli government sent a package or maybe a raiding mission on Iran's nuclear facilities just to send a huge message. Well, let's wait and see how that turns out. I think that I simply would not put this past Mr. Trump to do this, and I think Israel would definitely be on board. But this is definitely something that you should be looking at and paying attention to over the next few days, because these decisions are going to have to be made. And, I almost believe that if Mr. Trump does not respond to this, that the North Korea may very well cancel the summit on June 12th. So let's keep an eye on this and see exactly which way this blows. And if you know the Lord, today is the day of salvation. As always, don't put it off. Today could be your last day on earth. And if you were to die, are you going to spend an eternity in hell, or are you going to know the Lord and spend your eternity in heaven, because that's the only way you're going to get there. We can only get to heaven through Jesus. So if you've not committed your life and turned your life over to the Lord at this point in time, you need to do so. And you Christians, I have my Tribulation Period Survival Guide. It's written in 9 different languages, at least the digital version is, and I have also a paperback version. You need to get a copy of that and put it in the hands of every lost friend and loved one that you know. I would encourage you to go down to the description section of this video and click on the link, and it'll take you to either get the free version or the paperback version. You certainly don't want the world telling your friend or loved one how they need to react once the rapture takes place. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.